It's like, this is dreaming with your eyes wide open. This is what we set out to do.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
You said that Pandora came to you in a dream.
I think so. I mean, it turned out that way, right? I mean, the dream was just a dream, and the art was just art. And I was at a time in my life, I was 19. In my teenage years and into my early 20s, I was doing a lot of art. I even thought I might be an artist. I couldn't decide. Let's see, physicist, artist, writer. Those were the three things that appealed to me, believe it or not. And I was majoring in physics at the time, but I was drawing and painting. And dreams were a good source of inspiration.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
Now these Avatar films are viewed by many, by me, as the ultimate cinematic experience. So how does that compare, like going from a dream 19-year-old's
It's an interesting ellipse, right? So let's talk about the causality here, because I find it interesting. So I have an image in a dream. I get up, I draw it, I paint it. Years later, I founded a company called Digital Domain that was based on an idea that we would create characters and creatures using the new tools of computer-generated animation, which were just fresh. I'd used them on The Abyss, I'd used them on Terminator 2, and my partner that I founded the company with, Stan Winston, had just seen them used effectively on Jurassic Park, the first one, right? So we're talking about 1992. Founded that company. After a couple of years, things weren't advancing fast enough within the company in terms of our development. So I said, I'm going to write a story and I'm going to make a film that will push the technology forward as fast as it possibly can go, right? Because I knew that good research and development and innovation comes from production, where you've got a deadline. You've got a bunch of money in one hand, you've got a date looming on the other hand, and magic happens in between, right? So I wrote Avatar in 1995 to push that company forward. The motto of our company was dreaming with your eyes wide open, because we knew we were creating the new magic, you know, the new physics, the new way that cinema would work. But everybody told me that I was getting ahead of myself and we shouldn't make the film because there were steps in between that we had to build tools for, and they were right. So I shelved it, and then I wound up doing other things. I did Titanic, then I went exploring, and I did 6 deep ocean expeditions, and I kind of drifted away from filmmaking, and I came back, and I read that story again, and this was in 2005. I said, we're doing this. And I don't care if we're ready or not. We're going to make ourselves ready. You know, people have said, I stopped for 10 years until the tools existed. That's half true. The other half is I said, I don't care. We're going to spend the money that it takes to make the tools to make this film possible. In other words, I doubled down on my original position, which was we're going to will this into existence. Now, cut to now, 20 years later, right? And we're creating these films, and once I have a little distance on the film and I can just sit there and watch it, which I'm kind of at that stage now, it's like, this is dreaming with your eyes wide open. This is what we set out to do. Now, my partner in Digital Domain died a few years ago, Stan Winston, so he didn't get to live to see the dream come true. But we're living it now, you know? And I think other movies don't look like Avatar movies, or I should say Avatar movies don't look like other movies. They have their own kind of signature aesthetic, which is, it's kind of in a funny way slower and more thoughtful and more visual and more colorful than other films. And because they're in 3D, we don't cut really fast. Maybe sometimes in an action sequence we'll cut pretty fast, but usually we want to leave those shots on the screen so you can kind of look around and feel the world almost as an additional character.
The children! No, Spider! And we will find another way.
And, you know, I'm proud of the work that the team does. You know, I'm not doing this by myself. I'm not painting like in some cold upstairs studio, you know what I mean, and showing it to the world. It's 3,000 artists that I work with. 3,000 artists, you know, that's what it takes to create that otherworldly experience. If we hadn't made so much money on the first one, we couldn't justify that. But as long as we can continue to justify that business model, man, it sure is fun creating these images. You know, I love it. I love it. It is a dream come true in a way.
And it's so much fun getting to watch it.
Yeah.
In the cinema and with 3D, and I forgot about 3D, and then.
Well, people do.
Yeah,
right. But when you see it done right, and you see it with good projection, where the brightness levels are good, and a lot of theaters don't have that, you see the potential. Right? So with cinema at risk now and fewer people going, people are always asking me, what can we do to get people to come back to the cinema? I said, well, we can put in laser projectors and we can make every cinema everywhere look like the premium cinemas that we show to the press and the media, the journalists and the critics and everything else, right? Because it's a little bit of a double standard. I don't want there to be a double standard. I want it to be ubiquitously good, high-quality 3D. And then, once again, people may value it. If they value it, more filmmakers will author in that format.
Your goddess has no dominion here.